The headlines: nationwide labor strike in effect with partial compliance. Nigerian army kills 2 bandits, recover weapons in Kaduna. House of Representatives probes visa cancellation scandal by Saudi authorities. Canadian peace activists confirmed killed in Hamas attacks. Hello there, welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin with the nationwide strike action by the organized labor as the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have begun the nationwide strike with affiliate unions joining the industrial action. The unions include the National Union of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institutions Employees, the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, and the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Polytechnics. Others include the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, the National Union of Food, Beverage and Tobacco Employees, the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, and the National Union of Electricity Employees. The strike comes on the heels of the physical assault on the national president of the NLC, Joe Ajero, who was subjected to in Imo State 2 weeks ago when he and other NLC members were in the southeastern state for a demonstration over non-payment of salaries and pensions for 44 months and the violation of other labor rights of workers in the state. Now, the ever-busy headquarters of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company in Abuja was on Tuesday deserted by different categories of workers at the NNPC Tower. Early Tuesday morning, labor leaders were seen manning the entrance of the complex while preventing movement into the building. Although the National Industrial Court Abuja had restrained both the NLC and the TUC from embarking on the strike action, the movement, however, ignored the court order, insisting that the government at all levels must wake up to its responsibilities. In reaction to the developments, the presidency on Tuesday criticized the nationwide strike action instituted by the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress as unwarranted, saying it was an attempt to blackmail the government. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, in a statement expressed dismay that the strike proceeded despite a restriction order by the National Industrial Court. He says the government is still at a loss as to why the NLC and the TUC decided to punish a whole country of over 200 million people over a personal matter involving the NLC President, Joe Ajero, whose error of judgment led to assault on him in Ore, the Imo State capital. Still staying with the developments in Nigeria and looking at security now. In continuation of the sustained operation against terrorists and bandits as well as other criminals in the northwestern part of Nigeria, troops of the 1st Division of the Nigerian Army and Operation World Punch have again killed 2 bandits in a clearance operation in the general area of Juji and Telele Castle in Chikun local government area of Kaduna on Monday. A statement by the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, 1st Division of the Nigerian Army, Lieutenant Colonel Musa Yaya. The troops also recovered 1 AK-47 rifle, 3 AK-47 rifle magazines, quantity of 5 7.62mm ammunition, 2 locally handmade grenades, 4 handsets, among other items. The General Officer commanding the 1st Division and Force Commander Operation World Punch, Major General Valentine Okoro, has implored the members of the public to continue to support the Nigerian Army and other security agencies with credible information to enhance the fight against terrorism, banditry, and other criminal activities in the division's area of responsibility. The Minister of State for Police Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, says the Police High Command will execute President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's directive for the withdrawal of police personnel from VIP security duties and developing a community policing strategy. The minister made the development known on Monday during a two-day management retreat at the Ministry of Police Affairs. While noting that the Nigerian Police Force and the Ministry of Police Affairs were at a critical juncture and currently struggling with the consequences of decades of neglect that have hindered their ability to fulfill their constitutional mandate, the minister added that the ministry is committed to aligning its efforts to contribute to the realization of Tinubu's vision for a renewed, highly effective Nigerian police force. Elsewhere, the House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Foreign Affairs, Interior and Pilgrims Affairs to investigate with immediate effect and remote circumstances surrounding the cancellation of visas granted to 664 Nigerians on arrival at Jeddah Airport in Saudi Arabia aboard Air Peace. Now, the directive followed a resolution on a motion on matters of urgent public importance jointly moved by Representative Kama, Nkem Kama, Olumide Oshobo, Abubakar Maki, and Tolulope Akande Sadipe at the plenary on Tuesday. Presenting the motion, the lawmakers informed that Saudi Arabian authorities cancelled the visa of all the 664 passengers airlifted by Nigeria's major carrier Air Peace on arrival at Jeddah Airport in Saudi Arabia from Malam Aminu Kano International Airport on Monday. Now, the lawmakers quoted sources at the Nigerian embassy in Jeddah that the Saudi immigration personnel could not locate who authorized the cancellation of the visas when the APPS, which was live between both countries, was concluded and the airline was already airborne to Saudi Arabia. Now, the whistleblower policy was first introduced in 2016 to support the anti-graft and anti-corruption fight in Nigeria by former President Muhammadu Buhari. But 7 years down the line, the aim, objective, as well as the impact of the policy remains highly debated. Here's Yusuf Akogu with analysis.
In the words of the former President Muhammadu Buhari, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. Concerned about the global rating of the country as one of the most corrupt in the world, the former president introduced various policies to checkmate the menace. One of such initiatives was the whistleblowers policy. The policy allows every citizen with knowledge of fraudulent acts to expose these infractions under the cloak of anonymity. Despite the initial enthusiasm of citizens who embrace the policy, it seems to have lost momentum.
They say when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. You fight fraud, fraud fights back. You fight inefficient and evil people, they fight back. So the whistleblowers policy is to create a platform where people can report this kind of cases without them being known, without them being seen, but to ensure that what they are reporting is verified. So over the years, it weakened because it became clear that as people report, they get their identity become known, and they are being chased by those who they reported, and ultimately that privacy that the whistleblowers policy is supposed to have became compromised, and of course it deterred people's ability or willingness to report cases as they see.
The main drawback is the lack of protection for whistleblowers who risk all kinds of retaliation, such as suspension without pay, denial of salary, no promotion for long periods, punitive postings, outright sack, and threat to life. Even more discouraging is the fact that prosecution of those implicated by whistleblowers is often slow and often do not lead to convictions.
How prepared is the judiciary to prosecute cases like this? And look at capacity building for the security forces, the police, the different organizations that do investigation. Have we built enough capacity? Investigative journalism, have we looked at the media? They both the government and privately owned, electronic and print media and all other media, even the social media. But let me also say something. It's going to be very difficult because the body language of the people in power does not communicate like they want any whistle to be blown on what they are doing.
Whistleblowers policy needs to be tightened by ensuring that those people who receive the information are not careless with the information or are not bought over by the culprits being reported.
Concerned Nigerians are of the view that government policies and programs aimed at fighting fraudulent activities should be strengthened. This is in light of prevailing corruption in almost all sectors of national life. Yusuf Akogu, Trust Television News, Abuja.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Negotiations grown over low cash in circulation. More on this and many other stories up ahead after the break.
As night falls in Abuja, the city's dark side comes to life. The speedy underworld of commercial sex work is flourishing in Nigeria's capital city. Despite the dangers and health hazards, young women join the trade every day in hopes of earning quick money and a life of luxury.
Every day when I wake up, I used to ask myself, why am I doing this kind of thing? If I see myself on the street, I used to shed tears every day.
They say their families have no idea what they do, while their tears suggest some remorse, maybe pain and even regret. These ladies hope others will learn from their story.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify.
But there are people who say not spending money is not a virtue in
coming.
itself.
Let me finish.
Because there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent development shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No, it's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its higher horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for them, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Welcome back to the news. Thank you very much for staying with us. Here's a quick reminder of our top stories. Nationwide labor strike takes effect with partial compliance across states. Nigeria's army kills 2 bandits, recover weapons in Kaduna. Well, speaking to some of the developments regarding the strike a little earlier, we had a conversation with our correspondent Biodun Alade, who gave us insight into how the developments were unfolding in Lagos.
Well, as a result of the strike action that was announced by the NLC, we noticed that some public facilities, especially those not owned by the federal government, that activities were dissolved this morning. They didn't allow them to, they didn't allow the workers to actually go about their activities this morning. And that also, there was also a little bit of a traffic congestion towards the Ikeja part, towards the Alausa part, because there was some movement of workers, trying to maybe hold a rally and stuff like that. So, but generally, Lagos is a bustling city. People are still going about their normal activities. But the major part of Lagos today that had a major effect happened to be at the port, where the workers decided to shut down the port. So that was actually major in the state today. Yes, so from the report that I got, I think the secretariat was not that dissolved, Lagos state workers are not expected to join this strike. I doubt if they're going to join this strike. Well, I've not spoken with the chairman of the but maybe I'm going to call her later. But I know that the last time that we had a strike like this, they didn't participate fully in it. So, and I don't expect this to actually be an exception based on what has happened in the past. Private sectors are working, they're working, the only issue that you need to actually solve the private sector from working in Lagos, we have to be the issue of transportation. And like the NURTW fashion that you have in Lagos does not support the AJU-led NLST. NURTW, they are working today. They are not part of the strike. Those ones in Lagos are not part of the strike. So people are able to go about their normal businesses. So the private sectors are not that affected.
The West African Examination Council has announced that it will migrate its examinations for private candidates' examination diets from paper and pencil tests to computer-based examination WAEC, or rather examination. In a statement by its spokesperson, Moyeshola Adesina, the council says the innovation will commence with the West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination for private candidates in 2024. According to the statement, while the objective test will be fully computer-based, the essay and test of practical papers will be hybrid, in which the examination questions will be delivered on screen and candidates required to write answers on them, or rather give answers on booklets. The examination body also stated that the examination will be conducted in urban centers and cities, and candidates with special needs have been factored into the new plan, noting that registration for the examination will commence December 18, 2023. As part of efforts aimed at reducing activities of criminals at the entrance of the Jalingo main market in Taraba State, the state government, through the Jalingo Local Government Council, has relocated some of the business operators to a newly constructed model park.
Different administrations in the past have tried to decongest the entrance of Jalingo main market to control the activities of criminals to no avail. Perishable goods sellers, commercial drivers, fresh fish sellers, among others, are the business activities conducted in the area. The chairman, Jalingo Main Market, and the secretary commended Governor Abu Kefas for his effort in decongesting the market. The secretary, Butchers Association, and the secretary, National Union of Road Transport Workers, said the move is an attempt by the state government to provide safety environment for businesses. They, however, said the newly constructed place is not enough to accommodate all the businesses relocated to the area.
Wannan rana wanda mai girma gwamna yake so ya tsaftace gari.
First, we thank God for witnessing this day. Since from the initial stage, we were not disobeying the government order. What remained the issue is the place to relocate when they leave. Now the present administration of Dr. Abu Kefas provided a conducive environment for those that were asked to relocate. Therefore, it's quite a welcome development. Now both the trailers, town service, Keke Napep operators, pushers and those trading under the shade of an umbrella on the street have relocated to the newly constructed market called Gaji Ajia Memorial Park. This thing that is happening now is for the benefit of the citizens. If you can see, whoever come to pass through this way, even with car, must face some obstacles in one way or the other. Some business operators in the congested area said relocating them to another area is not the solution. According to them, the only solution is to stop the heavy trucks from parking along the major street. I'm calling on our people to abide with the government order, because government cannot entertain anything that will affect its citizens intentionally. And as we all know, this present administration shows the element of progress, hence they need to give them a maximum support. To be frank, it will take some time before people become more familiar to the new place. It is too small for all business operations that we ask to relocate to the area. I'm calling on government to do something about it. Some residents around the newly constructed market appreciate the government's efforts. They added that it will give youths in the area opportunities to learn business skills.
This is a very welcome development initiated by the state government to the compliance of market associations. As we can see, women, market men and women are really patronizing each other to ensure the free movement of the buying and selling.
Elsewhere, despite the reassurances of the Central Bank of Nigeria on adequate cash supply, residents in Lagos appear to be experiencing difficulty in accessing cash in circulation. ATMs in major parts of Lagos appear depleted, lacking sufficient cash, as residents express frustration over the situation. Victoria Tokolo brings us up to date with reactions of residents affected by the declining cash flow. Our report is presented from our studio.
Monday, the first working day of the week, is known to be crucial, especially in a bustling city like Lagos, which is the commercial center of Nigeria. However, numerous ATM stands in the state capital, Ikeja, and neighboring Ifako, Ijaye, and Agege local government areas are empty, devoid of cash. Customers express dissatisfaction with this development, which has been ongoing for days now.
About 20-25 minutes to get a cash dispense from just one. Only one is dispensing for now. So I got the just one. I cannot really say what the issue is or but I think there are no cash as far as I'm concerned, because the first one I was dispensing was stopped. So we move on to the next one. That is what people are collecting cash for now. The entire ATM booths, just one is working. So it could be either scarcity of cash or the network itself. So I don't know, but sincerely, it's just all I know.
The long queue, I think maybe this was just one ATM machine I was working, and there were several there. All of them were right here, also no service on the rest of them. So just one ATM machine. So I think that was rather queue. Yeah.
I didn't stay long. It just within 2 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. So I've gotten my money and I left.
This cash scarcity is having a negative impact on the livelihood of people who, despite the central bank's call for the utilization of digital transaction, want to use cash for their everyday transactions. It remains to be seen whether this is a major problem or short-term supply shortage.
Talking business, the foreign exchange market resumed with the naira depreciating against the dollar on the parallel market, popularly called the black market, following renewed demand pressure after appreciating for 2 trading days. During the intra-day trading on Monday, the dollar was sold for 1,130 naira, representing 1.80% loss compared to 1,110 naira sold on Friday last week. The naira strengthened on Thursday and Friday from 1,140 naira on Wednesday to 1,110 naira on Friday in the parallel market. At the autonomous foreign exchange market, the naira firmed by 21.73% as the dollar was quoted at 780 naira 14 kobo on Friday, as against 996 naira 75 kobo quoted the previous day. This was despite a decline in the dollar supply by willing buyers and willing sellers in the market. Consequently, the volume of transactions, which reflects the daily FX market turnover, declined by 63.24% to $84.02, or rather $84.02 million on Friday from $228.54 million on Thursday. On the international scene, Vivian Silva, a Canadian-Israeli peace activist who went missing during Hamas's October 7 attacks on Israel, has been confirmed dead. Silva, age 74, was killed in the Palestinian armed group's initial attack on southern Israeli communities. Silva's son, Yonatan Zeigen, told CBS News and CTV News on Monday. Silva, the founder of Women Wage Peace and the Arab Jewish Center for Equality, Empowerment and Cooperation, had been living in Kibbutz Be'eri near Gaza after relocating from Winnipeg in the early 1970s. Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly described Silva as a proud Israeli Canadian and lifelong advocate for peace. Now, the Nigeria Football Federation has queried Super Eagles manager Jose Peseiro players in the 23-man list he invited for Nigeria's 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Lesotho and Zimbabwe. Nigeria will meet Crocodiles of Lesotho in their first game of the qualifying series on Thursday in Uyo and fly to Kigali in Rwanda shortly after for their second game against Zimbabwe. According to the report, Peseiro told the NFF that he constantly invites Aribo because his qualities are entirely different from other midfielders in the team, adding that apart from Alex Iwobi, the former Glasgow Rangers star is the most attack-conscious midfielder in the Super Eagles squad. He assured the Federation that he would be forced to drop Aribo if he fails to gain regular playing time at Southampton. Meanwhile, 10 players have arrived at the Super Eagles Uyo camp ahead of the game against Lesotho. The players include Kenneth Omero, Jamilu Collins, Sadiq Umar, Alex Iwobi, Taiwo Awoni, Francis Uzoho, and stand-in skipper Wilfred Ndidi were all part of the squad that arrived in Uyo. Well, that's all the news for now. Check back a bit later for more news updates. For now, feel free to follow us across our social media platforms for the latest news and programs. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later.